Schreiber and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father, we are assembled as citizens and civil servants whose purpose is the welfare of our community. We ask that our decisions as a council be of sound judgment, tempered with tolerance and compassion. May we be ever mindful of our responsibilities as citizens. We ask, Father, that you guide us with your divine wisdom and grace. Father, bless those in our military who protect us. For those who face trials and tribulations, we ask for them your blessing. May your light shine upon us and grant us peace. This we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting to order of the Monday, February 1st, 2016 City Council meeting. Mrs. Powell, roll call, please.
Branch.
Here.
Costales. Graham.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Hussey.
Here.
Mahalovich.
Here.
Prather.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Scrivener.
Here.
Ward. Here.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And before we begin, I would like to ask if there are any scouts in the audience this evening. Always like to recognize our scouts. Okay. And item 4, miscellaneous agenda items. 4A, proclamation presented to Vivian Kaysen regarding American History Month. Vivian was not able to attend this evening, but I still would like to share the proclamation for American History Month. We have a proclamation presented on behalf of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, which sponsor February as American History Month each year. So in order to stress pride in the United States of America through community services and educational programs, essay contests, historic tours, and the study of American history, how we're made aware of the importance of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity in all of our lives, we wanted to stress the importance of American history. So we will proclaim American History Month, and we will make sure that Mrs. Kaysen receives this proclamation. On to item B, we have Denise Chappell in the audience this evening, and Denise is the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, so you're welcome to come forward, Denise, and she will be introducing Todd Spalding, who is our new Parks and Rec director. So Todd is also welcome to come forward. Thank you. We're glad to have you both here this evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Mayor, again, my name is Denise Chappell. Is it on?
It should be on. You may just need to pull it down. You're good.
Okay. Ms. Mayor, my name is Denise Chappell, and I serve as the current president of the Parks and Recreation Commission. My apologies. I'm here tonight for the sole purpose of introducing Jefferson City's new Parks and Recreation and Forestry Director, Mr. Todd Spalding. I'm reminded of a phrase that it doesn't matter where you are nowhere compared to where you can go. Todd has joined the park staff on January 26th. He brings with him an extensive recreation background and is relocating his family to the Jefferson City community. I humbly ask that he be welcomed as he continues the standard of excellence in service, facilities, programs, and preservation of resources while working in concert with residents and the city's leadership. So with that, I introduce Todd Spalding, our new Parks Director.
Well, I'm very excited to be here. It's been a great first 5 days on the job. I'm learning lots of new people. I've got to join a department with a wonderful history to it and a great palette, as I like to say, and being able to come in and extend the services and the parks facilities that we have for our community, and I'm really excited to get going. My family, I have 4 daughters and my wife Amy. They are extremely excited to get here as well, and my oldest daughter is a freshman at Columbia, so it's made it great in the transition. I get to go up and see her once a week, so it's been wonderful to be able to do that. We are excited to get going, so thank you for this opportunity. It's great honor to be here. Thank you.
Mr. Spalding, we're very happy to have you on board at the city and look forward to working with you. And welcome to the city of Jefferson and for being here. And also Mrs. Chappell for your introduction and for your leadership on the Parks Commission. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. Thanks. Item 5, public hearings. There are none. Item 6, appointments by the mayor. There's none this evening. Item 7, presentations from staff consultants and invited guests. We have in attendance the Jefferson City Host Lions. So welcome to the podium, Lyle Rosberg, on behalf of the Jefferson City Host Lions, Hammond, Bean, and Chili 2016. And I have to recognize they're invited by 3 of our own Lions that are Councilman Prather, Councilman Graham, and Councilman Schreiber.
Correct.
Fellow
Thank you very
Lions.
much for
Thank you.
for letting us speak to you tonight. You know, every once a year we kind of come by to remind you kind of what Lions do, and to remind you there's something exciting happening Wednesday, and that's our 60th annual Lions Hammond, Bean, and Chili event. It's one of our main fundraisers for the year. Great food, great times. Hope you'll come out. Hope you'll join us on Wednesday at St. Peter's Church. As a reminder of the Jeff City Host Lions, we sponsor many different activities throughout the community. Our motto is "We Serve," and we try to hold to that motto as much as we can. We've contributed to the football locker room upgrade, the stadium track upgrade, the Miller Performing Arts Center. We ongoing contributions to the Buddy Pack program, the Big Brothers Big Sisters, the Boys and Girls Club, which we contributed a significant amount towards their capital campaign this year, Samaritan Center, Salvation Army, Senior Nutrition Center, Boys and Girl Scouts, etc. We also focus on Lions vision and hearing for the community, but also for the country and the world from Lions International. Saving Sight, which is Missouri Lions Eye Research Foundation in Columbia, is the eye tissue bank and does a tremendous amount of research towards vision. We do our own amblyopia screenings here locally by some of the same folks that are in the room with me tonight. We have local area, we give exams to needy people in the area and pay for eyeglasses. We do a variety of activities as leader dogs for seeing eye dogs throughout the country. But then also we've done a variety of things with youth programs, the Lions All-State High School Band, the State Exchange Program, the Missouri Lions All-Star High School Football Game, and the City of Jefferson has benefited directly, and make sure Mr. Spalding knows kind of the history of the Parks and Rec Department, that the Jeff City Host Lions are the ones that started the Parks and Rec program many, many years ago, and we've continued to support it through the Greenway Trail Restaurant Facility on Wildwood. We built the original ice arena, the original golf clubhouse, the playground equipment at lots of different parks, sponsored the school safety patrol for the police department, and we've most recently partnered with the city to expand the Greenway across into the Frog Hollow extension. So we're excited about that. For 98 years, Lions Club has been around in the country. It was 1917 when Lions was formed. The Jeff City Host Lions have been around for 90 years. This is our 90th anniversary this year, formed in 1925. 60 years of ham and bean. The last 5 years offering chili. So we're progressive and we're moving with the times. But our commitment to serve is really forever, kind of tagline with Visa there. We also like to thank our community partners that make our event such a success on Wednesday. Republic Services, Allied Waste, Coca-Cola, News Tribune, Samuels, Schulte's, Schnucks, and the good folks at St. Peter's. We hope we see you on Wednesday. If you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you for being here, and I know you
Great.
have some other fellow Lions in the audience. If they would like to all come forward, you can either introduce them, and if you would want to come up here, let's get a photograph so you can share it about your event, and we'll have our 3 Lions members stand up here, and then you all can stand here, and we'll get a photo. So welcome up your fellow Lions here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Councilman Scribner.
One question, I guess, that might be on everyone's mind, I don't know, but you didn't say anything about how to get tickets or
Well, you
cost.
can get it from any Host Lions Club member, so you could talk to your fellow members here. They're supposed to be selling you some. At the same time, you come to the door the day of, we'll take care of you there as well.
So people can come to the door?
Absolutely.
Very good.
You bet. Thank you.
Tickets are $8 in advance and $9 at the door.
I stand in front, will I walk you?
Lyle, sorry, you're going to have to get all the way down there. All right, so we've got our
I'll stand
Lions
with these
here.
guys over here. I won't stand back a while.
Yeah, nobody wants to be alive.
Somebody want to scoot over a little or maybe Mark get over here? Can you see Mark?
Yeah.
too?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good luck with the event.
Chair.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sure that, I know the three of you will be selling us all tickets this evening, and we will look forward to that. Thank you for the service to the community that the Lions Club offers. Really appreciate what you do. Thank you. And item B, we have Tyrone Coleman and Misty Young. You're welcome to come to the podium to talk about the water drive for Flint, Michigan. And I'll let Councilman Henry do an introduction about that project.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Misty and Tyrone are here on behalf of Lincoln University. They're actually spearheading the project for the water drive for Flint, Michigan. If many of you have been kind of in touch with the news as of late, this has actually been an ongoing issue, but Flint's had some serious issues, water issues with actually lead in the water, and so Lincoln and their staff and students got together to want to put something together, and I thought it was only fitting to try to help out as much as we could on our end of things as well. So without further ado, Misty and Tyrone.
Thank you all for having us. The initiative started on the 21st
Oh, you may want to
of
put
January, where a gentleman on Facebook had said, "Hey, can you come match me for a bottle of water to send to Flint, Michigan?" I said, "I can get a case." He said, "Well, what more can you do?" So that's when we pretty much stepped out into the student population and asked them what were their ideas, how would they like to assist with it. And from then on, they've pretty much been taking on the lead in the project, coming up with ideas on how to get those, get that water and those things that the people need in Flint, Michigan. So to date, it's over about 7,000 gallons of water. I'm thinking we're right at three trucks that have been donated to us, 18-wheelers, and possibly trying to expand to the St. Louis area and get them to come up and make contributions as well. And I'll head out on the 27th of February.
So we had a donation from the food bank on Friday. They actually made a call to us on Friday asking if we would be willing to take 16 pallets of water from them. So on Friday alone, we received 4,600 gallons of water that are currently being stored in Dwight T. Reed Stadium. And we did have a truck donated by Mr. Reed Millard. We have a semi-truck that we are trying to fill, and now with 16 pallets of water, I'm fairly certain we're going to be able to pull that off. And so with the 7,000 that we've collected so far, and that's not including those that are in this room right now, with the 7,000 that we've collected so far, I think we're going to come a long way into making that happen. So we will be delivering on February 27th. We'll be taking some student organizations up. Mr. Coleman will go as well. And so we still have plenty of time between now and then. If you're trying to still collect water, we are definitely doing that. There will be some other items that we'll be collecting as well, because as we start to consider when water isn't clean, then there are other things that you do with water, such as bathing, brushing your teeth, hygienic things. And so there will be some items that we'll be collecting to help make sure that the residents of Flint, Michigan are also able to cover their hygiene needs as well.
Thank you for doing this project, and I believe the collection centers are Lincoln University and City Hall. And are there other places in town that people can collect or drop off water?
Also the Blue Skillet over on Dunklin Street as well. And so those are our three central locations. If you're coming to the Lincoln University campus, you can drop them at Scruggs University Center, which is 819 Chestnut Street. The Blue Skillet, I'm sorry, I don't know the exact address, but they're on the corner of Monroe and Dunklin. So.
Great. Appreciate you doing the collections. And then you said the collections you'll be taking between now and February 27th?
The last date to drop off will be the 25th. That way we can get an accurate account of all of the things we have.
Great. I appreciate that. Any questions from the council this evening?
Just a statement, Madam Mayor. I know that Councilman Henry and I had a conversation last week, and we were talking about, renting a U-Haul truck to possibly take up there. And then when Mr. Henry got a hold of Mr. Millard, and he brought this 18-wheeler on campus, I was like, there's no way that we can fill this with water. But then again, I said, you know what? This is Jefferson City. And certainly we all reach out and help each other, especially when someone is in a need of help. So I'm very pleased to know that the food bank donated that amount of water. And I'm sure that with the rest of the people here in Jefferson City, we'll be able to fill that 18-wheeler truck that is very huge. So I know with us being Jefferson City, I know that we can do it. So that's all I need to say, Madam Mayor.
Great. We'll plan on it. And I know you've been doing a lot on social media to promote this, so would you two want to come up here and we'll get a picture with the city seal in the background, and if the council would want to come up, and that way you can share about your project. So if you two would like to come stand up here and we'll do a quick picture. So you two can just stand right here if you'd like. No, you're good. Yeah, there you go, right there. Thank you. And I did overhear the comment, we really don't need a photo. But I will say that I do know you are sharing this event, and so we hope that the council can do our part to help you share what you're doing, at least getting it out there in the social media, that we are a supportive partner in what you're doing, and hopefully we'll get that semi filled. Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe we can also present this picture to the city council members there in Flint, Michigan. Just let them know that the city of Jefferson here in Missouri stands with them as well, too. So I think we can use this photo more than just a social aspect. So I'm glad we did take the picture, Madam Mayor.
Wonderful. We will
Thanks.
absolutely share it with them. Thank you
Thanks.
very much. All right. And item 8, announcements by mayor, council, and staff. I will start with my announcements. I did want to touch on a recent article in yesterday's News Tribune, and I believe it was titled Unanswered Questions that Madeline LaRue wrote, and Madeline covers our city business. So I wanted to touch on that because it does deal with the Parks and Rec facility and Lincoln University facility. And so I just wanted to bring up that under the previous council and mayor, that the city is contributing $1.5 million in an MOU between the city and the Parks Commission that is dated December 22nd, 2014. And that sum of money is a no-interest loan, which they needed to have financing for the project. So the Parks Department is a department of the city, so the council does have an opportunity for making sure the project is fiscally responsible. But then also, the Parks Department does have some different, I guess you could say, a little bit different authority that is granted from the charter. So they're not like the typical city department. Generally, the Parks Commission, not the city council, sets the policy for the Parks Department. The council can, though, I believe, help facilitate and clarify some expectations, because we are somewhat a partner in this project. And I do want to address it because there were specific questions, aside from just the headline unanswered questions, that there were some specific questions in the article. And so I know some of us have probably received those questions as well. But I did want to also clarify that those questions are for the Parks Commission to answer, not for the City Council to answer. But I have also encouraged, after reading the article, Denise Chappell, who was here earlier this evening, the head of the Parks Commission, to definitely follow through with News Tribune and with Madeline so that those questions can be answered. And Denise shared with me that the discussions are still taking place and that she does have intentions to make sure questions are answered. But I did want to share with you my perspective on that, and that the council can also be a way to get the message out, which is why I'm mentioning it here tonight. And I think it's very important that the council is also informed about the project, because we get asked the questions, even though we may not be directly in charge of that particular project, that we still are asked about it. And I know that with a new director coming on board, with Mr. Spalding here, that I would look forward to having updates made to the council, and whether it's coming to the podium here and discussing it at a council meeting, or whether it's having a dedicated meeting at such time when you could present all the information so that we get a clear, updated picture. I think the council would really appreciate having that and knowing where we are and really taking that step forward from here on out, because this is a wonderfully important project for the community, and we want to make sure that our role as the city is to work with the parks and with the Parks Commission, but we also want to make sure that publicly that it's informed, because I appreciate Madeline writing the story, and I just wanted to address that in a manner that people could know I think what my perspective is, and sort of to set the tone for hopefully starting things off again on the right foot and getting the questions answered to the best of Parks' ability as those discussions are taking place. So I wanted to share that under my announcements. And I also have another announcement. Friday evening was the Chamber of Commerce Annual Gala, and I was the co-MC along with Commissioner Sam Bushman, and the theme was In Harmony. It was city-county. Having the city and county to co-MC was kind of the theme of the night, and I think that was a great theme because there are many ways that the city and county work together and really our whole community in harmony. I did want to mention, too, that former Parks Director Bill Lockwood did receive one of the awards for the evening for his service over the years to the community. So wanted to share that since it was a sort of a city-related award, and appreciate. I know we had several councilmen and city staff in attendance, and appreciate the support there. It was a neat way for the chamber to talk about what they do in our community. So those are my announcements, and do we have any announcements from council this evening? And also there are, Councilman Brand.
Just want to let everybody know that Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. at the conference room across the hall, we will have an administrative committee meeting.
Thank you. Any other committee meeting announcements or council announcements? Councilman Prather?
We will have a finance meeting on the 11th at 7:30 across the hall.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Okay. Thank you. Item 9, Lincoln University Student Representative Update. Jonathan Jackson.
Hey everyone, how we doing?
Welcome back from winter break.
I know I haven't seen any of you guys since 2015, so Happy New Year. It's good to be back at it once again. Lincoln University, we are just excited for 2016 because it is our 150th year anniversary of our institution, and it's very exciting for us. I know they have a lot of great things planned, but there's a lot of great things that we just don't know about yet because there's like surprises for the campus itself. So I don't know anything, so I'm just in anticipation like everyone else is about what they have in store this year. Next Thursday on February 10th is our Founders Day convocation. We have every year. It's at 11 o'clock in Mitchell Auditorium. If you guys would like to say, I know Madam Mayor will be there bringing some greetings, and I would love for anyone else that is able to come support us on our Founders Day convocation on that day. Also, basketball season is going wonderful. We're winning more than we're losing, so that's always great. So if you like, our next home game is February 13th in I forgot the name of the gym. I'm sorry. The basketball gym. Jason Gym. There we go. Jason Gym. I believe the girls play at 1 and the guys play at 3:30 p.m. Also, last week we had our Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, and we had the honor of having Dr. Cornell West come and speak to the campus, and it was quite an opportunity. Especially to meet him and to embrace him. So it was wonderful. It was great. He said some amazing things and some great things to the student body on that day. We're looking forward to the building of the rec center coming really soon. Hopefully, everything works out well, and we look forward to it. It'll be built before, after I graduate, but it's okay. I can come back hopefully and work out everything. Also, I'll be kicking off some initiatives this year. Finishing out my term before I get out of here. But I have to sit down with Madam Mayor, of course, and then get some okay from Dr. Rome. But I do have some initiatives that I'll be kicking off with the university and the city this semester, just to bring some, I guess, stick with the harmony theme between the university and the city. That's all I had. If anyone have any questions.
Thank you.
All right,
Any questions
thank
for Mr. Jackson? All right. Thank you for that report. All right. Item 10, presentations from the gallery on specific bills or resolutions. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak on any specific bills or resolutions? Okay. And item 11, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12, bills introduced, 2015-99.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a $38,950 grant amendment between the City of Jefferson and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, MoDOT, to construct runway 12-30 rehabilitation, edge lighting for runways 1230 and 927, and Taxiway B project at the Jefferson City Memorial Airport.
Thank you. Mr. Morash?
Thank you. Excuse me. As clerk indicated, this is an agreement with MoDOT. It'll increase our project agreement with MoDOT on the airport runway project. The amount of the grant will increase by almost $39,000, and then the matching share by the city will be increased by approximately $4,300, and that comes from the half-cent capital improvement sales tax, which is slated for airport-type expenses. Mainly, we're just doing some line item adjustments in the contract, and there's an additional pavement was constructed on a taxiway connector. The MoDOT in recent times has become a little more formal in this process, so we have modified agreements, and the companion bill is the next one. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Matt? Okay. 2015-100.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute the first supplemental agreement to airport aid agreement between the City of Jefferson and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, MoDOT, to construct runway 1230 rehabilitation, edge lighting for runways 1230 and 927, and Taxiway B project at the Jefferson City Memorial Airport.
Thank you. Mr. Morash?
Thank you. Basically, this is a time extension type of agreement. The main runway has been reconstructed, as probably everyone well knows at the airport, but the project has some minor things to finish up, as well as tying in the connector runway with the taxiways. But this will extend the time frame to August 31st, 2016, to allow that work to be completed.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. 2015-101.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri vacating and discontinuing a portion of the 700 block of East Franklin Street right-of-way.
Mr. Morash?
Thank you. This is kind of a ties to the Boys and Girls Club. Everyone probably well knows they're getting ready to construct a new facility on the LU campus near the Lincoln City Wellness Center. The Franklin Street right-of-way exists through that lot. It was originally platted with the original city plat and was never constructed, obviously. And so this would just clean that lot up for the future construction.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. 2015-102.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing a general fund supplemental appropriation of $25,000 within the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program.
Thank you. Mrs. Abbott?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Back in 2009, as part of the federal stimulus program, the city was awarded $440,776 to acquire and rehabilitate foreclosed homes within targeted areas. Among the properties acquired by the city was 304 Marshall Street, a residential duplex structure constructed in 1900 containing 2,500 square feet and including 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 2 kitchens. Attempts to rehabilitate the structure began in late 2010. Several setbacks were experienced, including multiple break-ins, thefts, and contractors' issues. These issues caused additional costs to accrue, resulting in cessation of work on the property. The Neighborhood Stabilization Program grant funds of over $47,000 were previously expended on the property, but with the source of the break-ins gone, there has been few issues since 2010. In 2015, bids were requested twice for rehabilitation of the property. The first time the project was bid out, only one bid was received of $187,890. The project was bid out again in December 2015, with the lowest of the bids receiving was $123,080. Staff has analyzed several options to determine the most cost-effective approach, including demolition. The cost of the options analyzed from $25,000 to over $103,663. The least cost option, in terms of general fund contribution, is to rehabilitate the property. Of the 5 options, just to run through them real quick, is to remove federal ties associated with the property by paying back all the neighborhood stabilization program funds back, which is approximately $103,663. We could sell the property to an investor, but the investor would be required to report to the city for 15 years. And if the investor does not report or follow through on his end, the city is still obligated to pay back all federal funds included on the property. We have looked at the option of working with non-for-profit agencies such as Nichols Career Center, but unfortunately, rehabilitation is hard to obtain sufficient course credit through their system. In addition, Habitat for Humanity as well, but the property is too large for their participants. And then demolition. Demolition would still require the city to pay back of the neighborhood stabilization program assistance of approximately $49,000, plus paying for the actual cost of demolition of the city funds, which this option would cost approximately $69,000 from the city. The staff recommended is to rehabilitate the property and sell the property to a low to moderate income household. This option would get the property back on the property tax roll. A buyer for the property has already been identified and pre-qualified. It would be beneficial to move forward with a total bid of now $123,080. Staff has determined that this option would be the least expensive option for getting the grant closed out. And I did forget to mention, there is a substitute bill associated with this bill.
You all entertain a motion to accept the substitute. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor of accepting the substitute? Any opposed? Okay, so we have the substitute on the table, and are there any objections to suspending the rules on this particular bill? Do we need to make a motion first to do that? Okay.
I make a motion.
Oh, sorry.
I will
My mic
second
is
that.
off. Thank you. So we have motion and second. Any further discussion? Okay, and we have no objections to suspending the rules? Okay. So any further discussion? Okay, are we ready for roll call then? Did I get all the, I'm sorry, Councilman Henry. Okay.
So I was looking at a note here on the substitute. So what this is telling us is there may be a request for more additional supplemental funding after this?
Yes, Councilman. Basically, what had happened, the reason for the substitute is our lowest bidder, due to out of the city's control, had to be dropped out of the bid process. So we're having to go with our second lowest bid, which still gets us within the original appropriation amount requested, but just lowers our contingency on the project. And as with any rehabilitation of a property, there's an unknown element to rehabbing, but I will work with the contractor to keep the costs at minimal. And once the property, I did forget to mention, once the property is sold to the identified buyer, which by the way, he is employed by Lincoln University and is super excited about the property. Once the sale of the property happens, the city would receive back a prorated amount of the funds that was invested based on the actual percentage of investment by the city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Scrivener?
Do you know approximately what percentage of this rehabilitation is going to be city funds?
Approximately 20%.
Okay, so of the 125,000, approximately, what is that, 20 times 125 would be $700 or $7,500?
That would actually be out of the
Is that right?
city's.
No, times 125. Pardon me? 20, about 25, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 20% of the sales price of the property potentially may come back to the city as general revenue funds.
And you and I were talking before, before the pre-meeting, and this is a program that will be, we have one more property and then it'll be closed out, and it won't be something we'll be engaged in unless some kind of federal program comes up again.
Yes, the city had applied for these funds back in 2009, so there was a total of 6 properties that were acquired as part of this project, and we have 2 properties left. Once the rehabilitation of 304 and the property is sold, we'll be able to use the funds from that outside of what comes from this, goes back to the city. The NSP, or Neighborhood Stabilization Program funds, would be utilized to demolish 408 Lafayette Street. And that would let us close the program out, and the city would not be participating in this kind of, or I won't be coming back and requesting kind of supplemental from this program.
I guess I would appreciate, Madam Mayor, if after this program is closed out, that there be an accounting of how much money was actually spent by the city and how many properties were rehabilitated, and just get an overview of it, so that the next time that we're offered some kind of an opportunity to seek a grant for federal funding, that we've got some experience now to be able to say, okay, this is how much good we did, and this is what it cost, and really do an analysis of it, because I think sometimes federal funds are very, very tempting. It's real easy to say they're going to provide 80% and we're going to provide 20%, and I'm not sure that we ever really do I mean, it's hard to know what you don't know, and so now we have an opportunity to have a real life experience with a program like this, and see what it actually did for us.
Sure. I'm sure that Mr. Kroll could help get that quantified along with Mrs. Abbott's input there. Thank you. Great suggestion. Councilman Graham?
Ms. Abbott, you also said that a buyer has been identified. How do we go about identifying a buyer for their property?
Actually, the buyer had contacted me about a property also on Marshall Street, and inquiring about a fourplex that was down there. And I just happened to mention to him, the city down the road will be rehabilitating this property at 304 Marshall Street, and he was interested. He took a look at it, explained the program to him. Normally, and previously, I should say, for the other properties that were sold and rehabilitated, there was an application that was here at City Hall that was made available to the public. It just so happened that this gentleman had came forward, and just by talking, he became aware of the property.
Do you think we should do the same thing for this process, or do you not see anything that could come back to say that this wasn't a fair process or anything like that? I'm just asking.
So whenever he contacted me, I did provide him an application for the program. Should clarify that, because it is operated on first come, first serve based on application and who's qualified. In order to qualify for the property, you have to be income sensitive, and he met those requirements. And also, in addition, he attended a first-time homebuyer education course to ready him and his family for undertaking of being a homeowner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, Mrs. Powell, the final reading of 2015-102.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing general fund supplemental appropriation of $25,000 within the fiscal year 2015-2016 budget for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Branch?
Aye.
Costales?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward.
Motion passes, or bill passes. 2015-103,
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Allied Services, LLC, for solid waste collection services.
thank you. We have Mr. Hilpert.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is really the conclusion of about a 2-year process. I think it was about 2 years ago that the council passed a resolution to go through the process of getting a new trash contract. And as you all know, went through an RFP process and got lots of public input in the meantime. And a few months ago, the council approved the bid from Allied, and so this is the contract that reflects that proposal. We've been working with Rick Graham and his staff, Janice and I have, and some other staff members as well. And we believe we have an agreeable contract, and that's what's submitted to you today. Just to go over some of the items, it's very similar in terms of twice a week pickup, once for trash, once for recycling. The size of the cans remain the same. Recycling is still a part of it. Spring cleanup still a part of it. The rates have been reduced, and in the worst or best case, whichever you want to call it, some commercial users will actually see a reduction of 40%, and individuals will see a reduction as well. It's a 10-year contract. Universal coverage continues to be required. Allied will perform the billing. That is an issue we talked about, but in the end, staff recommended and the council agreed that it didn't end up being cost-effective. The rates will increase no more than 3%, and Allied continues to pay a road fee, and they will pick up the trash containers downtown and at city facilities as well. The contract will begin June 1st, so I know people just paid a bill, so that won't be affected by this one. I'm happy to answer any more specific questions that you've got, or leave it that way.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Thank you. 2015-104.
An ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri pertaining to solid waste.
Mr. Hilpert.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. These are accompany the other contract, which the ordinance needed to be updated to begin with, but we've done that update along with making sure that the ordinance actually matches the contract. So some of the things that we've done are more clearly define the types of occupied units, so that we can clarify single, duplex, triplex, and those things a little bit better in the statute. We provided clarifying language about who's responsible to maintain trash. It doesn't change. The property owner is still responsible, except in rentals of 1 or 2 people, so duplex. They can assign that if it's in a lease and in writing to the tenant. Defines walk-up service, white goods, and compostables, things that we didn't otherwise define. It talks about materials that shouldn't be placed in recycling bins and solid waste. And it clarifies what solid waste that can be performed by someone other than the authorized provider. So, things like utilizing your garbage disposal and stuff like that. Just trying to clarify it for everyone. And then amending the recycling article, we basically scrapped that whole thing and tried to make it fit with what we're actually doing. One of the things I mentioned, the walk-up service, Allied will provide that. I know we had some discussion over time about people who aren't physically able to move their trash can, and Allied has provided walk-up service where they come up, take care of their trash, and we just put some definitions in it. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Allied got this. They may have some questions about this, so I can't swear to you. We won't need to change something in here, but I think it looks good.
Thank you, and I do want to commend you and the city staff for working so hard on getting this contract how it is, and appreciate Allied as well for, I know that the overall product is a significant reduction in cost for both residential and commercial, and really happy to see that and appreciate all the work that went into this contract. Councilman Scrivener?
I guess a question that I have a couple of questions, actually. The first is, we're about to have a spring cleanup, and each year it seems like there's more detail and more of a list of things that can't be put out for the spring pickup. And I just wondered, does the contract have any specifications in there? It seems that, maybe it's my imagination, but it seems that list gets longer every year of things that won't be picked up. And I know some of them are hazardous materials and things that can't be put in a landfill. But I just wondered if there's any reference to that, and if that value of that spring pickup is going to diminish over the life of this contract by additional items being added to the we will not pick up list.
There is a reference to what's allowed to be put in bins and such, and I think spring cleanup, although I'm kind of flipping through here, I'm having trouble finding it.
I have the dates here. April 18th is west of Jefferson Street that week, and then the week of April 25th is east of Jefferson Street.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed that either. It appears to me that there's more and more items being added to that. Maybe that's just my imagination.
And I will mention, too, that this flyer that does list what will be accepted and what won't be is currently on the city's website. If people will click on the calendar of events for the week of April 18th and the week of April 25th, all 5 days, they can pull up this flyer so they can see exactly what will be picked up and what won't be picked up.
Councilman Chris Goodman, we do have some reference on page 10 of the contract, 9.3, and I won't read it here, but we do have some definition about what can go in and what can't.
Okay.
I know that some things change over time depending on like hazardous waste and how that gets defined and things like that. But
Well, I know for one thing, people have been able to put lumber out in the past, and now it has to be cut, and maybe it was always supposed to be cut in 4-foot sections, but it has to be bundled. And it says that you can't put out construction waste, so if someone is, such as sheetrock or things like that. It was just kind of my feeling that the whole idea of the big pickup was that once a year you got the opportunity to get rid of stuff that wouldn't fit in your blue bin. And it's kind of getting down to, unless you've got an old couch or a mattress, and I don't think you can throw a mattress either now that I think about it. I think that's one of the restricted items. But there's quite a few things on there that people might find that they can't get in their bin that they also can't have picked up. I guess we just have to be thankful for all the scavengers that are running around picking up stuff.
Mrs. Abbott, did you want to add anything?
Each year, our staff comes up with a flyer and we send it on over to Allied Waste for their review and approval. I do believe the construction waste that, like you're referring to, demolition waste could have some hazardous materials in there, but the bundling the items to 4-foot section, I do believe is a issue for their workers to be able to pick up and carry. But that's how we get the ad. We work with Allied Waste on getting it approved.
just real briefly, the kind of qualified reference in the section is all items must be susceptible to normal loading and collection. That's not the one I wanted. All items shall be of the size and weight so that a 2-person crew can load into the truck. So that may be what your issue is there. Talks about materials needing to be securely tied or bundled. So I think there's some protection in there, maybe not as much as we might like.
If you bundle it, it's going to be harder to handle than if you pick it up individual boards. Now, I understand that makes the loading a slower process and takes a lot longer to run the route if you do that. But it also, we're talking about a much diminished service if people can't put materials like that out and have them hauled off. I guess the second question, and this, I have to give Councilman Mahalovic credit for this question, but what kind of controls are contract reviews in place to maintain the service over the life of the contract?
We do have.
Are we sure that service doesn't diminish?
Well, I guess the nuclear option is we do have the option to opt out with a certain notice, but there are performance measures built into the agreement, which, if I can find them, which they have to report on. So we kind of, as we try to do, I give Councilman Mahalovic credit for that. We try to put these in all our contracts so that we can, identify to the council whether it's been successful or not. Flipping through here, I know they're in here though.
Okay, well, I've got a copy of it, and I'll look.
Section 35. I can just kind of briefly complete 100% of residential collections on a scheduled day unless hampered by inclement weather. Remove 100% of the litter from collections on the same day as resolve 90% of customer complaints within 2 days, resolve 100% of customer complaints within 5 days, and file 100% of required reports on time. Essentially their business is cleaning up the city, making it a pretty fun, safe place to be, so that's their part in it.
Okay. Well, I might have some questions during the week about
Sure.
the big pickup thing, and see if maybe we can't, I can't get a better understanding of exactly
It
where
could-
we've been on that and where we're going.
Could be the council would like better language in there, so.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Councilman Hussey?
Not to belabor the point, but Councilman Scrivener, I think you had suggested that mattresses were not an item that can be picked up, but the flyer indicates that mattresses are included. I just want to make sure that.
I'm just doing it from memory.
Yeah, no, you said that. I want to make sure if anybody's listening that they know that that's included.
Thank you. And again, they can get it on the city's website on the calendar for Monday, April 18th or Monday, April 25th. Thank you. Depending on which side. West side is the 18th, east side is the 25th. Thank you. 2015-105.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an STP Urban Program supplemental agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, MoDOT, for the Highway 54 and Stadium Boulevard interchange project.
Thank you. Mr. Marash?
Thank you. In essence, this is a time extension with our MoDOT agreement for our Stadium Jefferson Roundabout project. Obviously, you probably well know, we've run into some right-of-way difficulties there, and this would allow us to extend the time frame to August 2016 to award the contract.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marash? Thank you. Item 13, bills pending, 2015-96.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri transferring land for right-of-way to the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, Department of Transportation, MoDOT.
Thank you. Mr. Kroll?
Thank you. This will authorize approximately 88 square feet of Washington Park property to construct a improvement for sidewalk and traffic signal at that intersection.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, Mrs. Powell, roll call.
Costales?
Aye.
Graham?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Hussey?
Aye.
Mahalovich?
Aye.
Prather?
Aye.
Schreiber?
Aye.
Scrivener?
Aye.
Ward? Branch?
Aye.
Bill passes. 2015-97.
An ordinance of the City of Jefferson, Missouri amending the City Code, Chapter 8, Section 8-3 and Section 8-5 by establishing requirements for the supervision of apprentices by dual licensed individuals.
Mr. Burkhardt?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What this ordinance does, it amends the city code that regulates the plumbing and electrical trades within the city. It was found out that a multi-licensed individual could supervise more than what the plumbing and electrical boards consider safe to get a good quality product. So individual with multi-licenses could supervise more than two, which is what the trades would prefer. So what that does is to close or clarify that position of the electrical and plumbing licensing boards. And also, this ordinance will clarify fees for those licenses. It was listed in the actual code section, besides also in the Appendix Y. So there was a little bit of a conflict. So this clarifies both of those positions.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Graham?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Hussey?
Aye.
Mahalovich?
Aye.
Prather?
Aye.
Schreiber?
Aye.
Scrivener?
Aye.
Ward? Branch?
Aye.
Costales?
Aye.
Thank you. Bill passes. 2015-98.
An ordinance amending the City Code of the City of Jefferson, Missouri, Chapter 5, Animals, Section 5-15, by further defining the minimum standards for the care of animals housed outside.
Thank you. Mr. Hilpert? Councilman Mahalovich?
Sure. Actually, I would like to go back and refer to The intent was not to fast-track this. The intent was to be sure it got a thorough review. The genesis of this started with the animal shelter staff that's supported by animal health professionals and concerned citizens to bring this forward to our attention. In so doing, it brought up other issues, and I have no intent to fast-track it, and in review of the ordinance, it's become clear that further questions have arisen. So I'd like to direct the legal staff to review the questions that have been posed by some public members with regard to sections, and then bring that back to us.
And there is also a
Therefore-
substitute, so at this time, Drew, would we want to entertain a motion to approve the substitute
Actually, I'm
and
gonna-
then put it on the informal?
I'm thinking not, because if there's other changes, it'd be better just to do, this way, we just have one substitute and there won't be any confusion.
Okay.
So it'd be better just to leave this one on the informal, and we'll bring back a substitute later.
Councilman
It's
Mahalovich?
still my full intent to bring this back and to pass this in support of our animal control officers who are responding to the citizens concerned about life-threatening conditions for dogs. Therefore, I'd like to put this on the informal.
Okay. All right, any further comments? Okay. So that will be on the informal. Thank you. Hearing no objections, we'll place that on the informal calendar. On item 14, the informal, we have nothing currently. Item 15, resolutions, there are none. Item 16, presentations from the gallery on other topics. Is there anyone here this evening to speak on other topics this evening? Okay. Item 17, council staff discussion of presentation topics. Any comments? Item 18, new business. Item 19, unfinished business. I did want to note that at the last meeting, there was to be a flag ceremony for the USS Jefferson City flags. With the snow conditions we had, we'd put that off. So we will put that on the next meeting's agenda. So we'll see if anyone from the USS Jefferson City Submarine Committee might want to be here in attendance for that. So there's nobody here this evening from that committee. Okay, we'll do that at the next meeting. Any further unfinished business? Okay, item 20 at this time we will entertain a motion to go into closed session after Phyllis reads the information here.
Pursuant to Section 610-021 of the Revised Statutes of Missouri, the mayor would entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss the following: real estate, Section 610-0212.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Branch.
Aye.
Costales.
Aye.
Graham.
Aye.
Henry.
Aye.
Hussey.
Aye.
Mahalovich.
Aye.
Prather.
Aye.
Schreiber.
Aye.
Scrivener.
Aye.
Ward. Aye.
Thank you. Should we reconvene in 5 minutes, or? Okay, just get started. Okay. Thank you. Yes, closed session will be in here this evening. Thank you.
Lion President.